Have you ever just woken up one day, looked around your house, and thought, what in the world happened? How did I ever let it get so bad? That's where I was a year ago when I started on this journey. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, I let the chaos of the world consume me, and I decided that we needed to prepare for the future and whatever may come in that future. Unfortunately, the only thing it led to was overstocking, disorganization, and a cluttered mess. So, over this last year, I have really transformed the basement and gotten it back down to a manageable level, which I'm going to show you today. Whatever the clutter is in your home, whether it's accumulation of things throughout the years, a hobby that you no longer love, or like mine, a prepper pantry, I think it's important to remember that time and energy and just dedication to getting through it is what's going to make the difference. All of us have some time here and there to just go through things, and that's really what I did over the last year. Now, some days I did spend several hours in here doing different projects, and other days I would just take 10 or 15 minutes and come in and do the same thing. A lot of times, just looking at the entire room as a whole was extremely overwhelming for me, so I had to break it down into little sections and do, just this shelf at a time. And then as you're going to see later on in the video, I work at just getting rid of some expired food or just a different shelf, one shelf at a time to get through it. And over time, you're going to start to see a huge difference in your space. I know I mentioned this in a recent video that I finally got around to reading Dana K. White's Decluttering at the Speed of Life with an Audible book, and it really transformed the way that I think about my space now. The whole container concept has really just changed my mindset when it comes to how much we can actually store. Now, even though in the end I do still keep a lot of things that I'm going to use up and I am not going to rebuy. That's the thing, is I bought a lot of things and I got rid of so much stuff over the last year. But even some of the cleaning items, I know that I'm just going to use them up and I'm not going to keep repurchasing them. These are some of the items that I eventually decluttered, just some cleaning things that I didn't use anymore, some light bulbs. In this shelf here, I really wanted to clear off for my husband to have more space for some of his tools, and my goal is to get that entire shelf cleared off for him to use for his tools. This is right in front of his toolbox, and I absolutely hate anything stored in front of like a shelf or in front of anything where I have to move boxes to get to the space. It drives me crazy now. I will put a previous video that I had done of the basement up in the iCards if you want to check it out. But this video is more so of the last year, different times when I went through the space, because I had to go through the space several times, like probably 4 or 5 times before I was finally able to get rid of everything. And I think for everyone, their journey is going to be different. Some people may be able to get rid of things quickly, but I was not. It took me a little while to finally come to terms with the fact that I had just had too much. I just kept trying to organize it all, and clearly that did not work because within a short period of time, it would just become very messy again, and I would have to do the whole process all over again, and I don't have time for that. This is another area where, again, it just kept building up and building up in front of the shelf, so anything that I needed in that closet, I couldn't get to. So I'm just showing you really quickly what it had looked like a while ago. This is the recent time that I had gone through. This is what it looked like at the end. And then I'll show you again what I ended up doing to clear all of that stuff out. I wanted a place to store my jars that I'm not using that are dirty, and or they're not dirty, but they just need to be stored for when I need to use them again. So I ended up removing all of that long-term food storage into a closet, and then I'm going to store my jars there. And here's some extra blankets that I wanted to keep and just some extra towels that we like to use for dirty jobs or something that, is just a mess and I don't want to use our good towels. Again, more things that I'm decluttering. I had been holding on to them. It's just a bunch of shower curtains that I know I'm not going to use, so hopefully someone else can get some use out of them. For me, this was definitely the most overwhelming and hardest part of kind of taking control of the space again. I knew that I had too much food in here to manage any longer, and I knew that I was going to find things that were expired. Now, I think the thing that a lot of preppers think about is that the food isn't necessarily expired just because of the date on the can or the package. It doesn't mean that it's gone bad. So I was holding on to a lot of it because I knew that it wasn't technically bad anymore, but I still didn't reach for it when going to cook. And there was a lot of things that I just didn't even cook with. I bought them just to have just in case, but I never actually cooked with them. And I think that's what part of the problem was. So I really had to just bite the bullet and realize that I made a mistake and it wasn't helping me to keep the food. It was just making my life miserable. So I did have to throw quite a bit of things away. And now I just know that I don't do that anymore. I no longer shop like that. I'm only going to purchase what we're actually going to eat, and the things that I did keep. I'm making a conscious effort to actually go through and come up with meal plans to incorporate those items. The nice thing was I was able to get rid of so much food and donate it to the food pantry. I think I probably donated at least 15 to 20 big boxes of food over the last few months, and along with giving a lot of that to family members as well. So at least I knew that it was going to go to somebody who would actually eat and enjoy the food. The easiest way that I was able to break down this whole process was to say, okay, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes to just go down and look through one of the shelves, see what I can find that's expired. If I felt motivated, I could keep going and say, okay, I'm going to go up to the next shelf. But I definitely didn't tackle it all at once. It had to be over several weeks, really, with the food, just because I was that overwhelmed with it. So if you have a space where you're feeling really overwhelmed, just give yourself the grace to say, okay, I'm going to spend 20 minutes this day, and that's it. If you feel tired or you're just overwhelmed and don't want to do anymore, then just stop the timer at 20 minutes and actually just stop and go on with your day. I kind of would like to clear up some of the stuff in these baskets and get them into these bins. Because it's annoying having these baskets here when I need to get into the bottom bins. So I know a lot of the spices can be moved now. This is probably expired. Best by 4/30/2022. Let's get rid of that. You wouldn't think all of these small things actually take up as much room as they do, because really it's all the small things that have always gotten in my way. Going through the entire house, it's always something small that makes the space look cluttered because I don't have a place for it. At least with, like, say, the canned corn, it can all go together. But when I have individual single things that really don't have a home, they are the ones that end up being in the way, taking up more space than I actually want them to. So I think that's why when people say it's so important to have a home for everything, it really means that, because even those little one-off things, maybe they need to be grouped together in a different way, because when they're just scattered all over the place, it just makes for a big mess. Anything that was expired, I just threw away. And this is what I'm going to be bringing to the food bank. Got 4 boxes here full of canned goods, oatmeal, potatoes, all that kind of stuff that I think hopefully somebody will be able to use long before I would. All right, this is what I've got so far. I've got 3 boxes of rice, all those cans of fruit. I cleared up that entire space there. I cleared up a lot of that. This is just one of several of the trips that I had made to the food pantry. So here's another area that I really wanted to focus on. I just recently did a declutter of my kitchen, just getting it ready for the colder months and just getting everything cleared out once again. But then when I came down here, I realized that I still had a ton of spices that I had to go through because, again, I just didn't want everything all over the floor. I just wanted everything put together nice. So I went through all of the areas that I had spices in. I put them all in one place, looked through them, decluttered what was expired. Some I gave to my dad, and the rest I'm just holding on to because I know that we will go through them. We use a ton of spices all the time, and at least now this area here is cleared up a little bit more. Here's a truly crazy look at what our bomb shelter closet used to look like when I first started all of this. I literally could barely even open the door or walk in there at all. So everything in there was pretty much useless to us because we could never even get to it. There was things I had stored in there for so long, and after I had gone through a couple times, I got it to look like this. Again, a lot more organized. I had a lot more room. I could actually get in there. I had a walkway. I could get to everything, but I still feel like I had to pare it down even more. So I'll show you again what I was able to do. So I had taken a day to take all of the tubs that were in the front out and actually go through each and every tub to see what I was able to pull out. I used to decorate for every single major and minor holiday, and I just realized that I no longer want to do that. So here's an idea of some of the stuff that was in those tubs that I had pulled out, and I ended up just donating everything that was in them. I used to stock up on things when they were on sale after the holiday, but again, we couldn't even get into that room to get to anything. I wasn't going to pull 10 tubs out of the way to get to the Easter stuff when it was a lot easier to just go to the store and spend a couple dollars on some Easter egg kits. Like, it just didn't even make sense. And obviously, I didn't even film everything that I ended up decluttering because I just didn't have time. Sometimes I would just go down there in my pajamas. If I was up early and had the energy, I would just go and do it. And I wasn't going to record that. Nobody wants to see it. But I just want to show you guys an example. Here is what I finally got it looking like. This is what it currently looks like 1 year later. So much better. And, eventually we want to get in here and have this whole room redone. We'd like to have it drywalled, have a new floor put in, a new ceiling. It's all concrete and it stays pretty cool in there. It's a good storage room. I just have to come up with a better way to organize it. I think if I can get some shelves in there, we can keep the holiday decorations that we have left and some of the things that I do want to store. A lot of people have a garage that they can store things in. We do not. We have a small house. We don't have an extra room. So we are using the space that we have, and there are some things that I still want to keep. I wanted to throw in that picture because that was all of the bins I was able to get rid of. And this is what the basement currently looks like today, 1 year later. I have gotten rid of so much stuff in here. I know that I still have more to do, obviously, but my biggest goal was to get things off the floor and to keep them off the floor for the most part. I am actually really excited. I have someone coming next week to help me, so I will be showing you guys what we're able to do once that's actually done. I think I'm at a place now where I no longer know what else I can get rid of and or how to organize it. So I'm really excited about what's coming, and I will share that with you guys once it happens. Thank you again for hanging out with me today. I truly appreciate your time. And if you have any ideas, I am always open to hearing what those are. I hope that you're able to get some stuff done in your own homes. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I would love to have you join the channel. and just continue on this journey with me and share with me what you're doing in your own homes. I would love to hear it. The space under the stairs is another area that I would love to be able to figure out a better way to organize, because currently we have some Christmas stuff there, and I had gone through and gotten rid of a ton of my Christmas stuff last year. So once I pull it out again this year, I have a feeling I'm going to be able to get rid of even more. But I would love to be able to come up with a better way to actually organize under the stairs so it's easier to get to everything. Here's some of the stuff I had pulled out last year that I was able to get rid of. And again, I still have like 4 more bins that need to be gone through and minimized quite a bit. I've seen some people put storage drawers and things like that under stairs. I don't know if the space is big enough for us to do that, but it's definitely something that I have considered, and we'll see what happens going forward. But thank you again for hanging out with me, and I will see you on the next video. If you haven't checked out my latest video of my hibernation kitchen, go check it out. Bye.